After rising to the throne after the demise of Britain's longest-serving monarch, Queen Elizabeth II, King Charles III is free from paying taxes on his royal inheritance. In today's video, we're going to discuss the truth about King Charles III's inheritance. Stay tuned to find out. The king will not have to pay estate taxes on the recently inherited Duchy of Lancaster property estimated at more than $750 million. The 45,000-acre estate brought in more than $27 million for the Queen last year and involves a beautiful hotel. A law passed by Parliament in 1993 exempts the king from paying taxes on property inherited from the passing of another monarch. In the United Kingdom, the inheritance tax is 40% and applies to estates valued at more than $377,000. Since 1993, Queen Elizabeth has paid capital gain taxes on Lancaster. But it is unclear if the king will continue in his mother's footsteps. Without the 1993 law, Charles would have paid almost $200 million in taxes on the property. Meanwhile, Prince William inherited the Duchy of Cornwall from his father, which is calculated to be worth more than $1 billion. The whole Crown estate has more than $30 billion in assets from different properties and holdings that contains Buckingham Palace. Well, the royal family has an annual income supported by British taxpayers through the sovereign grant. In exchange for surrendering all property profits to the UK government, the monarch is paid an equivalent of 25% of the Crown's estate earnings by the Treasury. The demise of Queen Elizabeth II means not only the transfer of the crown to her first son Charles, but also the movement of her private fortune and the transfer of a large portfolio of assets ranging from iconic mansions to crown jewels into trust. Queen Elizabeth II's 70 years supremacy came during a period of huge wealth creations around the world, with new projects springing up in the decades after World War II. But much of her money is tied up in actual assets that haven't really appreciated, like Microsoft or Amazon stock, which have risen 240,000% and 146,000% since their original public offerings. However, Queen Elizabeth's historic supremacy has helped enhance the British monarchy's brand, which has faltered at almost $78 billion in 2017. That amount contains tangible assets such as Buckingham Palace as well as the intangible value of the monarchy's brand, which increases tourism to Britain and sales of goods bearing the royal warrant or crest. If you're liking this content so far, please consider subscribing and liking this video. Now, let's continue. The Queen's private fortune is made up of her possessions of art, jewelry, investments, and real estate, which comprises Balmoral Castle in Scotland, where she passed away Thursday, and Sandringham House in England. Together, these assets are priced at $500 million. According to Forbes, King Charles will inherit most of her personal assets. King is also not subject to inheritance tax. They say death and taxes are unavoidable, but Britain's monarch is legally free from one of the main taxes imposed on rich people in inheritance. According to reports, the country's sovereign pays no inheritance taxes. Therefore, King Charles will not face the 40% inheritance tax in Britain that would eat up $200 million of his mother's wealth. Inherited wealth, $34.3 billion in assets. Inherited property will now belong to King Charles III as the country's reigning monarch. But there is one catch. It is not regarded as his private property because it is held in trust. That means he cannot sell the properties. According to the latest financial report, the Crown Estate Corporation comprises $34.3 billion in assets and real estate. It contains Buckingham Palace, Kensington Palace, land and real estate throughout London and the United Kingdom. The huge management company is governed by an independent organization, not members of the royal family, and surplus revenue is remitted annually to the British Treasury. However, King Charles cannot dispose of the assets of Crown Estate for private purposes. The royal family benefits financially from his holdings. At least 15% of the corporation's earnings go to the royal family in the form of a sovereign grant. In the last year, the Crown Estate made $311 million in profits, meaning almost $47 million was provided to the royal family. King Charles III $24 million from the duchy. Before becoming king, King Charles held the title of Duke of Cornwall, which provided him the right to regulate the Duchy of Cornwall. That role related to the successor to the throne, which means that the duchy would now pass to Charles's eldest son, Prince William. The Duchy of Cornwall comprises more than 130,000 acres of land worth $1.3 billion, but as with inherited property, Charles was not authorized to sell the land. However, he earned income by renting it out to farmers, business, and residents. According to the Prince of Wales's website, Charles earned almost $24 million a year from the duchy. Charles's biscuit business, $35 million. In 1990, King Charles established a food business called Duchy Organics, whose purpose was to sell organic food. He collaborated with grocery chain Waitrose in 2010, and since then has contributed more than $35 million to the Prince of Wales charity. The business operates separately from the Duchy of Cornwall, and all profits go to charity. The Duchy line products sold at Waitrose range from organic eggs to organic buttered Highland